Welcome to Gen Cares, powered by Chozen Live Podcast. Here we engage in tough talks and meaningful conversations. Each week, we feature a guest that will help us stay in the know. We're a podcast that brings the community to you every Monday at 8 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, be sure to like and follow our page. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe so that you never miss a show. Now, here's your host, Jen Cares.
Well, good evening and welcome to Jen Cares, powered by Chozen Counselors. I am your host, Jen Cares, the founder of Chozen Counselors, a nonprofit organization that seeks to inspire, motivate, empower, and strengthen individuals and families. Friends, I am so very happy and excited to be back. Did you miss me? I missed you. I did. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in. This is a new year and another year to do Gen Cares, and I am truly honored and grateful for all the amazing people that come on and share their stories and just come along on this journey. I'm grateful. I'm also grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for coming back again. This month's theme is attitude of gratitude, and I truly have the attitude of gratitude for all of your support and all the endeavors that we're doing over here at Chosen Counselors. I hope that you had an amazing holiday, that you had an amazing crossover into the new year, and I hope that you are expecting some great things this new year. And in this month, we're going to talk about attitude of gratitude, and tonight we're kicking off with look back. Why? Because there are some things that we have survived, that we have pressed through, and we're keeping on going, friends, okay? And we want to have an attitude of gratitude because it could have went another way. And if we're honest, sometimes it did go a different way, a way we did not think it was going to go. But guess what? We are still here to tell a story and to encourage somebody else. And that's what we do here at Gen Cares. I am so excited to have our guest tonight. A little snafu. I'm the producer over here, so I ain't got one of my images. I'm a little upset about it, but it's still good. I have it before we're done. But I hope that you are excited as I am for Romona Mercer. I'm so excited to have her on. So help me welcome and introduce Miss Romona Mercer, who's going to share with us about Look Back.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
And how are you?
I'm great, actually. I'm resting, which I needed a whole bunch of rest right now. But I'm doing pretty good.
That's good to hear. It's a Monday. Was it a good Monday for you?
Actually, it was a great Monday for me. I had several things to do, even though I'm on vacation from my business. I still look after my father, and so I had to get some things straightened out with him. And
Mm-hmm.
so they all turned out pretty good. So I'm happy about it.
That's good to hear. That's a win for me.
Yes.
So over
Yes.
here at Gen Cares, we always start with a quote of the day. And today's quote of the day is, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. Again,
Absolutely.
life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. What are your thoughts on that quote?
My thoughts on that. That's a great quote, first of all, because you have to look back in order to appreciate where you are today, not to get stuck back there, and start having a pity party and why did that happen to me? But as you begin to look forward, as your quote says, then you will understand that things didn't happen to you, they happened for you. So
Mm.
I really think, I love that quote. Yes.
Uh-huh. Now you're already getting started. Let me top. Let's go to this pity party for a second, because pity parties are real.
Oh, yes,
Woe is me. Why
absolutely.
did this happen? Yada yada yada. We can get on the
Yeah.
bus. I can get on the bus
Yeah.
by myself. I don't need no me myself and I get on there. We get to talking to each other. Okay. Um,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
what's that part of pity party? Why do you think it's so easy for us to fall into it?
It's that pity party. And I believe we go to the pity party because we begin to compare ourselves. Dang, I'm getting ready to cry for some reason. But we get ready to we
Mm,
compare ourselves to others We look at
Mm.
other people's lives and we think that they're so much better than ours. Well, that person not going through that, and look how well that person dresses, and she still got her husband, and I'm married, and I'm not, and all of these things that we take ourselves through unnecessarily, you know.
Unnecessary.
Um, so that quote is really powerful because I hope I can talk about God in this situation,
Yeah.
whereas um he God takes us on that journey to look back.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, if we take our time to look back, we will see, to me, it's not that footprints in the sand type thing, because God don't always carry us. He doesn't always carry us.
Yes.
Sometimes his word says, I will take you through the fire,
Mm-hmm.
but you won't be burnt. He said you will go through the waters, but
Mm-hmm.
you won't drown. So for
Yes.
me, that's not God carrying me. That's for me, God allowing me to experience those
Yes.
things that will make me who he created me to be.
Mm. I love
Girl,
it.
I'm like, woo.
I love it because as you know, so we're in this new year, right? So like at the end of the year, I normally reflect on my year. How did it go? What did I do? What can I do better? And sometimes you want to keep up with the Joneses, want to compare yourself to the
Oh,
Joneses, and you have to get to the place of what happened for me. What was for me. What happened for
exactly.
them is what was for them, and which we see is not always the real deal. We don't know the blood, sweat, and tears that it took for them to get to where they are, and we have to be able to trust our process. And I know I don't want to always hear that either, right? Uh, but as we're now in this new year, it's like, okay, so this didn't happen, but this did happen. This went left, but this went right. You know, as we're preparing for this new year, and everybody does it at a different time. Some people
Yes.
do resolutions, some people don't. But the hope is that we don't get caught up in a pity party as we're planning for what 2024 holds.
Yes. The pity party is a lonely place.
Mm-hmm.
It's very lonely to have and it's lonely because those people who are moving forward in their lives, that they
Yes.
don't really want to hear all of that.
Mm-hmm.
They're there to help you, of course. That people will help you, but
Yes.
they don't want to hear how bad you're doing every single time they see you, because
Mm-hmm.
we all
Mm.
have good times and we all have bad times.
Yes.
But what I've also learned, one more thing I've learned,
Uh-huh.
through my
Uh-huh.
looking back and going forward, is that what I think it might be bad in my life, God might think is good. So I've learned to accept the good with the bad and have God straighten it out, because guess what? I don't know, but I know God knows.
I know God knows.
Yes,
What
I'm good
I
with
thought
that.
was bad.
Yeah.
What I thought was bad.
I'm gonna give you the scripture for it in a minute. What I
Ugh,
thought was bad, it was good for me
yes.
that God sent that in my life, because He
Mhm.
said, "What?
All
My
things.
ways are not your ways.
Yes.
My
Yes.
thoughts are not your thoughts. As high as the heavens."
Yes.
So what I'm thinking is, oh, this is good for me, because if we look back, come
Mm-hmm.
on,
Mm-hmm.
if we look back, look at all the things that we thought was good for us.
Mm. Mm.
It just make me like giggle a little bit, because I made a lot of mistakes. When I
Mm-hmm.
look back, I have to thank God that
Yeah.
He covered me.
Mm-hmm.
He protected me while
Mm-hmm.
I was making all of those decisions on
Mm-hmm.
my own, and not asking him for any directions. Because
Mm.
why? I thought I had this, I thought I knew what I was doing,
Yes.
but when you look back, you're going to see so many beautiful things there that you didn't see
Oh.
when you were there. So,
Mm.
yes, what I think is bad, God may think is good, and vice
Mm-hmm.
versa.
Yeah.
So that's where I live.
Mm.
That's where
So,
I
Mona,
live.
you have a powerful testimony. Could you share a little bit of it as we're reflecting on how they look back and where you come? Because they see you in this glow. It's like, oh, she got it on point. But again, getting there. Could you share a little bit?
you know, uh, yes, of course. I believe that's one reason why I'm still here, is to just share and not be ashamed of my past,
Mm-hmm.
never be ashamed of your past, because your
Mm.
past not only helped you, but it's helping somebody else. So my past started, I think I want to start, I guess, at the age of 16. When I first got married, that's
Mhm.
one of those times, I thought I knew what I was doing, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And I had my first baby, and I moved to Massachusetts from Philadelphia. I stayed there for 3 years, being abused
Mm.
through domestic violence and all other types of abuse. Any type of abuse. Well, I always say any type of abuse you think of, I went through, but that's not true,
Mhm.
because I've learned that some people have gone through worse situations than I did.
Mhm.
But that that life right there, when I was young, and I believed that my grandmother and mother raised us to be wives, taught us
Mhm.
how to cook, clean,
Mhm.
iron, sew, all of those things, and even to the point where, if I told, like, one time I called the police, right, when my ex-husband was beating me up, and you know what
Mhm.
the police said to me back then? They said, "Ma'am, that's your husband. We can't do anything about it." I said, "What?"
Wow.
And that woke me up.
Mm.
That, well, if you can't do anything about it, I'm certainly going to do something about it.
Mhm.
And I did. And but my life took me into, like, places where I never thought I would be.
Mhm.
So yes, I started a divorce when I was 21,
Mhm.
and I wasn't completely divorced until I was 27. And
Wow.
so I had two sons that I was raising on my own. The
Mhm.
thing about me, Jen, is that I was always a church girl. I
Okay.
was I wasn't a street person. I knew nothing about the street
Mhm.
because I was so sheltered. I was a church girl.
Mm.
Even though I was a church girl, I wasn't saved. That was the secret. I wasn't saved, but I was a
Mm.
church girl.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I never remember anybody, with all the ministers in my family, X, Y, and Z, my family,
Mhm.
all, I never heard anyone say, "Give your life to Christ." I
Wow.
never heard that part. If they said it, it wasn't my time to hear it. I'll put it like that.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
anyway, I moved into a lifestyle. I started hanging out in the bars because I thought, I was naive, but I know that now. But in that time frame, I thought that's what adults did. Once you became adult, you start hanging out the bars, dancing, whatever. And that escalated. That escalated. I was smoking cigarettes. I started smoking marijuana. And for some reason, I would always say no to the harder drugs. Like, I'll see people doing stuff. I didn't really know what it was, but I always said no to it.
Okay.
And until I reached the age of 30. Until I reached the age of 30, and I had this great big birthday party. And this man, to this day, I don't know who this man is. To this day, I can't see his face. He said, he came over to me and said, "Happy birthday." And he put a whole big, when I opened my hand, I had a whole ball of cocaine in my hand. And
Wow.
I was like, "What? Okay, I guess I'm old enough to do this then." Somebody
Mhm.
gave it to me. That's how short thinking I was.
Wow.
And I took the whole bag and did the whole thing that night, and I think I was high for like 4 or 5 days.
Oh, wow.
But when I look back on that, I be like, "Girl, you was a fool." But
Mhm.
you don't know that when you
Right.
living in it. You
Right.
think you cool. And so from there, I had this girl tell me, she said, "Okay." She was teaching me how to cook the cocaine, to smoke it, because I all this stuff they taught me, I didn't
Mhm.
know it.
Mhm.
And so, but she said, "When you see those little valve things," she said, "don't do that, Mona. Don't do that little valve thing." Well, what did Mona wind up doing? That little valve thing. So from the age of 30 until I was 33 years old, I was hooked on crack cocaine, right? I thought I would never get off of crack cocaine. And I was so embarrassed in that time frame of my life. I was hurt. I was embarrassed. Why? Because I couldn't take care of my kids anymore. I had the mindset to give up my kids instead of somebody taking them from me.
Mm.
So that's where I asked my mom and my aunt Jenny, my
Mm-hmm.
aunt Jenny. They took my kids and they kept my kids while I went into the Teen Challenge program, which is for ladies,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a Christian. Well, it's not in existence in Philadelphia anymore, but it was at that time. Thank God. And it was a program who introduced you to God and to yourself. So while I was in that program, that's where I learned about me, who I was. I wasn't my mom, I wasn't my grandmom, I wasn't my auntie, my sisters, but I always related to them that that's who I have to be. That's what I guess started out being when I caught myself being grown or whatever, I'm gonna be better than my mom, I'm gonna be better than my aunt, I'm gonna be better, better, better. And I
Mm-hmm.
always tell people today, don't start out trying to be better. Just start out being yourself.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And because being trying to be better than somebody, it's going to get you in the world of trouble. Just be who God created you to be. And
Mm-hmm.
I still walk those steps in my business today. I don't do competition with people
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know them people. I don't know what they're doing to get what they get. So all
Yeah.
I do, I listen to God as to what, even down to a dessert, what
Mm-hmm.
dessert to make this year or X,
Yeah.
Y, and Z. So anyway, yeah, I went to the Teen Challenge program, and Jennifer, that was the hardest thing I ever did in my life. I thought getting beat up, uh, you know, uh, my ex-husband having a baby out of, while we was married, and
Mm-hmm.
all of these things that I had to go through as a young wife, it wasn't nothing compared to me learning who I am, and who God is. It
Mm.
was not it was a very hard transition. However, I was determined to do it. And the first time I went in, I ran. I ran back out because I didn't understand it. That's how hard it was.
Mm-hmm.
The second time I went in Teen Challenge, it was a blessing from the Lord because usually they don't take you back.
Mm.
And this particular time, I actually was going to murder this girl
Wow.
because the girl had beat me up in my own house.
Mm.
And I promised myself that would never happen again. I mean, people that know me, they know when I say something, it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was surrendering again, and I went out to call Teen Challenge, and something told me to put, well, you know who told me to put a knife in my pocket because I was going to run into the girl. And I had already purposed in my heart that I was going to kill her.
Mm.
But let me tell you what happened that night, real quick. The girl, she did show up with a gang of her girls, right? And I'm by myself, and I'm at the phone booth, and all of a sudden, she breaks this bottle on the side of the curb, and she come at me. And when she came, I pull a knife out, and guess what? I couldn't bring my arm back down. And I looked behind me. I was already in the corner. It was nobody behind me. I could not, but she didn't know I couldn't bring my arm down. She kept looking past me
Mm.
like somebody was back
Mm.
there.
Mm.
And I'm like, I look back, I ain't see nobody, but I ain't let nobody know I couldn't bring the knife down. But I couldn't bring the knife down. And the girl, she threw the bottle away and just walked away.
Mm.
And that was, I know that, when you looking back, come
Yeah.
on, girl. Because
Yeah.
God, I left my husband because of that too, because I was about to kill him too. But
Lord.
that's the type of mindset I had. If you hurt me like that, you know what
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
saying? I was gonna kill you. Cause I was so, I don't know what happened to me that I believe it happened when I started going through that abuse. Um, I couldn't understand it. I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
under because nobody had never done me like that before,
Mm.
and I couldn't understand, and I really was going to kill him, but it's nothing but the grace of God said, pack your little bag and get on up out of here. Come back later and get your son. Cause I didn't have nowhere to go. So I wasn't gonna drag my son out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was 2 times in my life that I was gonna murder some. I mean, really, I was gonna murder him for real. So when you look back and you see that God saved you from that, because he knew I was scared. I was so scared to go to jail. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have made it in jail.
Yeah.
I would not have made it in jail. And the same thing with the crack cocaine, until I started getting high by myself. I used to go to these places that they call the hit houses and whatnot. And it was kind of crazy because I mean, I know who it is now. Like when you look back and you go to these hit houses and everybody's sitting there around the table smoking, some people sharing, whatever. But every time I used to take a hit, I guess for people that don't know, when I say a hit, like when you smoke crack cocaine, you use a glass pipe or whatever. And I would stand up and start preaching every single time. And so
Wow.
they nicknamed me the church lady, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was scared. Everybody was scattered. And
Wow.
I'm telling you, every time I take a hit, I stand up. And I can remember sometime I used to say, now y'all know God don't want us doing this and all of these type things, and just start preaching. And so when they see me coming, sometime they say, close the door, here come the church lady. You can hear them saying that.
Oh.
So so I used to beg them to let me in. I'd be like, I'm not going to do it no more. Please let me in. And soon as they let me in, I did it again. And it was another girl in there. She was sick because I was saved at that time. That's the time I left Teen Challenge, but I had gotten saved while I was in Teen Challenge.
Okay.
And I ran out and I started using the hit houses. Um, and then it was a girl that came up to me and said, Ramona, she said, I'm saved too. And it's like all of these things you run into out there. And I've always felt the presence of God on me, even as a child. I would walk and look behind me to see who was with me, and nobody would be there. But I always felt the presence of God, on my life, throughout my life, looking back, going through school, all of these type things. But you don't know what it is. But now that you look back with that attitude of gratitude, it was the hand of God, protecting you through all of that. Jen, I could have got killed so many times, and it wasn't, God didn't let it happen because I was so naive out there. I'm telling you, it's how did I survive out there? It's only the grace of God, because I didn't know nothing. I didn't know anything. You know, um, and people know you don't know. So they rope you in, but you don't know, people don't know you don't know.
Right. Right. And they manipulating.
But the Lord saved me so many times from going to jail, and from it seemed like I always tell people that God protected me so well that I didn't have to do what a lot of women out there had to do.
Mm.
And that doesn't make me better than them, because I was the same drug addict that they were.
Yeah.
So no, I don't put myself above them. It's just that I know that God protected me
Mm.
from doing certain things, because when you look back, I look back, I'm like, how did I get out of that, and how did I get out of that? And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's because that's a crazy life now, because I was scared to death out there, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I was scared. So moving on, um it's something how God Like that program, Teen Challenge, they actually, you really know what a relationship with God is. By the
Mm.
time you, it's not church as usual.
Okay.
It's no. You still have your devotions, you sing your little bit of songs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, they had us in group classes, individual classes. Then they had us in counseling, and everything was about God.
Yeah.
Everything was about you and God and building that relationship with God. Who is He? Church didn't teach me that. I have to say it.
Wow.
Church didn't teach me who God really is. And so I learned in that program. And when I came out of the program, I guess about 6 months later, even if it was that, God gave me a program, and the program was called Streams in the Desert. I don't know if you remember when I used to bring the women in my home, sometimes 10 women at a time. Listen, all I did was what was done for me. And I didn't reinvent the wheel. I didn't do any of that, but I felt the call.
Mm-hmm.
And it started with one person from a church called Celestial Tabernacle that my pastor asked me to help, but my pastor didn't really know that I was still sick too. I
Oh.
was only 6 months out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the mistake a lot of parents make when they have adult children who are on drugs. And as soon as they start looking a little bit good, they think their
Mm-hmm.
child is well, and the child is not. You have to go through so much healing because there's a reason why you started doing those drugs, you know. And so in the program, in Teen Challenge program, you go through so much healing and deliverance. God knows deliverance, and being set free. And you have to get rid of all of these little demon things to realize how great God made you. He said, "You are beautifully and wonderfully made." And the first time, and then I'm gonna stop and let you ask no question because I can go on and on and on. The first time I heard God speak to me was from the book of Isaiah, chapter 43. And it was because I didn't feel loved from anybody, not just from my ex-husband, but from my mom, from my aunties, my grand. And these people love you. But so why are you in that frame of mind where nobody loves me? It's like, no, these people love you. They raised you, they fed you, they clothed you, they kept a roof over your head. And I was on the basement floor at Teen Challenge. This is when I got saved. And I was just crying my eyes out. Nobody loves me. Nobody loves me. Even the counselors at Teen Challenge, they was like, "You need to get saved." And I had a counselor yell out to me, "That's why nobody can love you." Whatever I did, that's what she yelled out at me. And I was like, "Oh my God." She didn't know that broke me into little teeny pieces. So I was on the basement floor, and I was crying out, nobody loved me. And all of a sudden I had my Bible with me. And God told me to turn to Isaiah chapter 43. And I heard God speak to me for the first time. Me, not from a pastor's mouth or somebody else's mouth, but I heard God speak directly to me and said, "I have loved you." And I'm like, "What?" I'm looking around. I'm about to cry. I'm trying not to cry, but this is my testimony. Um, when I see myself laying on that, um, those old basements, they all musty and everything, but I was laying on the floor. And he just said, "I have loved you." He said, "I created you. I formed you." He said, "You are mine. I called you by name." And all these other things, taking me through the fire. And then he goes, "I'm doing a new thing. Don't you perceive it?" And boy, from that point going forward, you can't tell me nothing about God. Um, and I'm a like chill out just a little bit.
You know, as you were sharing that of God saying, I've always loved you, it reminded me of the old song, He was there all the time. He was there all the time.
OJ.
Waiting patiently in line. He was there all the time.
All the
And
time.
we don't realize that he is there all the time.
He's there all the
Because
time.
as you're sure, you didn't have to do some things. So others had to do those things, but there's still a protective factor that God gives us, right?
Yes.
Because even some of them, even though they did have to go, that's their
Yes.
testimony to now be able to share of how I got out of it too. So we all
Yes.
have a different testimony. We all have a different path that we go through. But the
Yes.
amazing part is that he is there all the time. Because like you said,
Absolutely.
it may seem bad to us, but God's like, I got you. It's all in my plan because all things work together,
Yes.
but it's a process getting there. But another powerful part you put of being a church girl, and this is really real of going to church and not knowing nothing that that man or woman of God is talking about. Where
Yes.
it's not hitting home to really have that relationship. But like Belinda said, it's about having that personal relationship. And you had to almost feel like you hit a rock of a bottom,
Yes.
to then be like, oh, what? And people don't always know what to say because with the lady saying, that's why nobody don't love you. We don't always know the right words to say. And we got to be a little bit more kind.
Yes.
We got to be a little bit
Please.
more kind. Because we need that kindness too. We need that grace too. It's
Yes.
so undeserving the grace and mercy that we get. But God, uh,
Yes.
hmm. I thank you for sharing. Now I got
Yeah.
some questions about some of what you shared. You ready?
Sure.
Because you said when you were first married, how it worked out and things that sort. What was it that caused you to say, I'll try this again because you're married now? So how was that process for you of saying, that was then, but this is now, and to be able to move forward? Because there's some people that were in a bad situation. It's like, how can I try something new? Because the last time it was horrible. The last job, the last mate, the last whatever, last house did not work. What was the piece that encouraged you to say, let me try it again?
Trying to see if I could pick one piece because, to be honest with you, I hated marriage. Uh, I thought I would never be married again because I wasn't going to take myself through that again. But it was I want to say 30 years before I got married again. And what happened was, I think between me going into the program, God giving me my own program, and me helping all of these other women, and helping them to prepare for their new life, opened me up to be able to receive. Because when I had that program, God shut me down. Man, I didn't know. No, no, no. I never even like really. I had to have a boyfriend. Nothing was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got this job as a counselor at a program in South Philly where I did first shift. So I would take over for this guy that this guy, he my husband now. but
Come on.
but I would take over for Lyman because he did third shift.
Okay.
And I wasn't attracted to him at all, period. You could do a big period or a little period, don't matter. I wasn't attracted to him. And it was because of the way he looked. It was because he had a bald head. And back there in my day, our men didn't have no bald heads. It looked really odd to me that I didn't like it. And I started asking myself because I started seeing more bald heads. And I'm like, why is our men cutting their hair off and stuff like that? And I'm just waking up, you know, um, being a woman again, regular woman, X, Y,
Mhm.
Z, flirting and all of that kind of stuff. And so what happened was I was talking to the secretary one day, and all of a sudden I looked over there at him, and it was like God said, "That's your husband." I was like, "What? Him? Not him?" But what happened before that was Pastor Mills sent myself and two other single women from the church to this singles conference.
Mhm.
and he like disbanded all the different ways we would think about getting a mate and all of that.
Mhm.
Told us to take that ring off of that third finger, right hand. He said
Mhm.
because when a man look at your hand and you have a ring on that finger, he's not going to talk to you because he thinks you're married already. So I
Mhm.
did that. I was like, and so he was like, it doesn't matter whether the woman is taller than the man and the man is short and the woman is tall, or you have somebody that's big boned and then you had this real skinny person. I'm trying to think of that pastor's name because I think they still have that training out in West Philly. I forget his name, but him and his wife do that ministry. But it
Mhm.
was so good. I took in a lot from that,
Okay.
and I think that's what opened me back up to marriage because
Okay.
I could like, even though I looked at him and said, I don't like no ball here, that came back to me, don't pick a mate
Mm.
because you could be passing up the right mate. And if I
Mhm.
would have did that, I would have passed up the right mate because I
Yeah.
feel like I had the perfect mate now.
Yes. Very nice. Very nice. I
So
love it.
that's what pretty much turned me back around because I did hate marriage at first.
Mhm.
Yeah, I hated marriage, even though I had marriages in my family that didn't appear to be like mine was, and
Mhm.
I didn't tell a lot of people that I was being abused because one of my brothers, well, we're older than all the boys, but my brother that's next to me, he's the oldest boy. He had got murdered,
Mhm.
and I didn't want anything to happen to my other brothers. So we all used to take up for each other. So I
Mhm.
just, I just dealt with it, you
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
I just dealt with it because sometimes if you bring family members in, it makes situations worse.
Mm.
So when I got married this time, I don't let my family come between. I don't even tell them stuff.
Mhm.
I just deal with it between me and the Lord, and I wait, because I got issues, you know. So I
Yeah.
have to remember that, I'm not perfect,
Mhm.
and as long as what happened to me before is that definitely wasn't going to happen this time. It just
Mhm.
was, because I withstood it the last time because I thought I had to.
Mm.
But once you learn better, then you do
Do
better.
better. Yes.
Yeah. So
I love it. It's really important with couples and relationships, sometimes family. I was sharing with someone how you tell somebody else he did da 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 da. They only see the bad side. They don't see the good side of what he did to make up for that, or the other things he did that were amazing, or what you did that caused him to do what he did. Okay,
exactly.
challenge for you. And then I was reading a post. The guy was saying to his wife, like, when you get upset with me, who do you go to? He said, do they have my side or your side? She said, my side, of course. He said, I go to people that have your side because they want to like fight for us, make sure we stay together and things. And it's so important who you go to
That's
because
so beautiful.
that's beautiful that it's you, him, and Jesus. And you also acknowledging, all right, okay, let me see if it is me. But I will say in the first situation, if anybody listening is in a situation where they are being abused, being
Mm,
used, please cry out to somebody.
please.
What happened to your family? Because your family is like an eye for an eye. They don't know how to turn the other cheek because they was like, "We gonna, help your cheek." Go to the people that are professionals that can support and assist you with getting
Yes,
situation. And I know that it sounds great for me to tell you to get out today, and I know that it's not always realistic. But at least if we plant the seed to know that you are worthy of more, that when you finally get to that place of enough is enough, that you'll reach out to somebody and they will be able to pull you out of that water that's trying to drown you.
absolutely. And I would just encourage, don't be like me, where I take a whole lot of stuff. But when I get to the end of it, I'm coming at you. So
Mm,
don't be like that because then you giving up your life for
yeah,
somebody else's life. So don't do that. Take Jen's advice is just to, go and talk to someone, that you can trust. And that's
mm,
going to help you,
yes.
have a better life, have a better life. Yeah. So, yeah, that's how I used to be. I just be at it.
I love it. But I also want to go back to another part you shared.
Yeah.
You said I was gonna kill her. And we have all been in a situation where we was ready to take somebody out.
Okay.
Somebody's always trying to push us there, but it'd be like, you know what? I'll be like, I like my clearances. Gel is not for me. I say the same thing. And I need my clearances to work when I'm working and things like that. So I gotta keep myself together. So I gotta be like, Jennifer, let them go. They're having a bad day or whatever it is that's going on. But also the grace of how that happened to where like you couldn't move your hand.
And when I look back with the attitude of gratitude,
Yes.
I know it was an angel of the Lord because I learned about angels of the Lord and how they stand on rooftops and protect people and all of this. And I believe those stories because I believe God.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see the angel, but I believe that girl saw it. I believe that girl saw that angel
Yeah.
in back of me. And that's why she kept peering past me
Yeah.
instead of looking at me. She wasn't looking at the knife. She was looking past me to make me turn around to see if somebody was back there. I believe she saw that angel that night.
Absolutely.
But I knew, once coming out of it, I knew it was an angel there that night because I couldn't move my arm. I could not, and I'm, people that know me from when I was little, I have to laugh a little bit. But I guess this has always been a part of me when I really look back because they used to tease me so bad growing up, about my eyes and everything, right? That I used to chase them with a knife,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So I had a little mental illness going on even at a young age. Right?
Lord.
So, so yeah, because when you look back, then things start coming back, and yeah, when they used to teach me about my eyes, that used to hurt so bad because it made me so different than everybody else. I never thought I was like any other person. I thought I was the only person in the whole wide world that made mistakes and X, Y, and Z. And like those things I always tell young people, everybody you see makes mistakes.
Yes. Yeah.
Everyone you see makes mistakes. So yeah, that was I know that was the angel of the Lord that was
Yeah.
holding my hand that night. I really do. I know it was, and I know it was God that let me back into Team Challenge that very night.
Yeah.
They called the director that night because I was screaming, please let me back in there. Please, please. And when I went back in, I was determined. I wasn't running. If I ran, it was going to be out the back door, not the front door. Because I knew I
Yeah.
needed what that program had to offer. I wanted to know God more, and when I came out, like I said, Teen Challenge wasn't church as usual. So when I came out, it was like I had a college degree in theology or whatever, compared to going to church every Sunday and clapping my hands and whatnot. I had a firm foundation with the Lord when I came out of that program, and it has never turned around. So
It sounds like we
yeah,
need that program now.
we do. We really do. And see, I think what happened to it was that when I was a student there, because they called us students, and we had to move from level to level, um, like from a C to a A, and then you go to a second phase if you needed to. And I always tell people my second phase was streams in the desert. Um, so I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, we do need a program like that today. And what happened was, um, in my day, we used to go sing and tell our testimonies at different churches all around the country. So if you could sing, you got a chance to travel with them,
Yeah. Very
and
nice.
yeah, and tell your testimony. We ain't think nothing of it, whatever. But they took up offerings, and that's how Teen Challenge was able to take care of us. Further down the line, when I went back, that's when they started putting us on welfare.
Okay.
And the state got involved. So when the state get involved, you can't
Changes.
talk about one religion. You have to talk about everybody's religion. Even though we were taught other religions, and we went to different. We went well. went to Spanish churches, we went to synagogues, we went to, whoever invited us in. So I learned a lot about how the
Mm-hmm.
community worship God, not
Mm-hmm.
just the Baptist church,
Got it.
And I'm telling you, I'm still not as close to God as I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I keep pushing. I keep studying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a minister, but I tell people, being an ordained minister doesn't make me any different than you. You
That part.
know, yes, it doesn't make me. It only says that God called me to do specific things.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it does. Just like He called you to
To
do
do.
specific things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, so a lot of times I don't even tell people I'm a minister. That's why I didn't tell you to introduce me like that, because I'm not into all it. I appreciate it and I honor it, but there's other things God has done for me since that, being introduced to Him, like taking me back to be educated formally. I didn't have any of that when I was running streams in the desert. I didn't even have a GD, but God did all of this through His Word. That some of these ladies I'm still in touch with. I get to see their lives blossom because of the Word of God. You see? And so I just marvel at how God does things. It's like, okay, I didn't even have my GD then. I got my GD after I was done, after He closed, the season down for Streams in the Desert. I got my GD, and then I moved to Nashville to take another job there as a counselor. Didn't like it. Came back a month later and married Lyman. And we knew each other for a year, and then we knew each other 6 months. We dated for 6 months, and then we got married a year to the day that we met. And it didn't take us long to say, okay, all right, I love you and I love you. We knew what we. And so we've been married for almost 29 years now.
That's
March it'll
amazing.
be Yeah, March it'll be 29 years. And it is what it is. I love being married, I tell people. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
before I hated marriage, but now I
Mm-hmm.
love being married.
And
You
that's
know.
the best part of it, that you love it.
Yes, yes. It's a beautiful life to live the best that you can the way God tells you to. We can't, we have to learn, because the words say we can. So we have to learn how to, I want to say, be holy, because God said, be holy because I am holy. So that already makes us holy. We have to learn how to live holy. And the way I explain it to people is that just like you became a part of a family, what is your last name? You're a Smith. Okay, but you don't know what a Smith is until they teach you what a Smith is, how they act, what the Smiths eat, where the Smiths go, how the Smiths treat other people, da 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 da. But you're still a Smith because they're a Smith. Where you came from are the Smiths. So that's what God is saying. You came from me and you're holy because I am holy, right? You can't work to be holy, you know, but you can walk in the footsteps that God has created for your life to be accepting of being holy, you know, to say, oh yeah, this is how God want me to walk because He said I'm holy. So when I give my tithes and offering, um, each week, I'm being holy. When I lend money to someone, which I don't do, I just give it. I don't lend money, I give it. If
Because
I
they might
have,
not give it back. So I
yes.
understand.
Yeah, I learned that lesson a while back. But yeah, all the things, that the attributes of God, when He tells us to love our neighbor as we love ourselves, when He say, uh, love those who hate you or persecute you, all of these things you still have to be who God created you to be. And that's what makes you holy. That's as simple as we as men, we really kind of messed up the word and stuff like that.
Right, right. Mm.
Just giving it to as my pastor put it, you can wear red fingernail polish if you want to. You're not gonna be unholy or anything like that. And then he tells us about cigarettes and things like that. And he'll say, you can't find that in the Bible where you're not supposed to smoke cigarettes, but you will find it in the Bible where God tell you to take care of your body.
Mm-hmm.
Those type of things. He bring us back to God's word,
Mm-hmm.
even down to what we supposed to eat. And that's the hard part, Jen, is what we supposed to eat. That's the hard part for me. I'll be like, okay.
And I was
I
talking to
fall
somebody, we
short.
were talking about how you have to be mindful too for what works for your body. So like I might be able to eat it, but you can't eat it because it mess you up. Or it might be someone else I can't eat because it's gonna mess me up. So we have to again
Now
take care of our
that's the
body.
truth.
If they saying our sugar high, why we gonna keep eating sugar?
Now that's the truth. That's the truth.
They
That's the
saying why
truth.
we gonna keep on doing all this fried stuff, bacon,
Yes.
air
Oh
frying it.
Lord,
There's
the
no
bacon
oil there,
came up again. Lord, the bacon came up again.
Now, now I go back and forth with people because real bacon is pork bacon. I don't care what nobody say. That's my truth. I hold to it. Turkey, all right, but that pork is where it's at. That's what I
That
prefer.
pork, listen, I tell people all the time, my great grandmother lived to 104 years old eating the pork, honey.
Okay.
So, like you say, what's good for my body may not be
Right,
good for your body.
right, right.
I'm cool.
Yes.
With the New Testament telling me don't let nobody tell you what to eat or drink. It's okay.
Another part that I wanted to go back to was the piece of you
Sure.
saying that the man who you didn't know gave you um
The
some
cocaine.
drugs. Yes. And oftentimes we come into contact with people and sometimes they're giving us good stuff, they're giving us bad stuff we don't know. And we have to make a decision whether or not we're going to apply it to our lives or let it go and things of that sort. Um, and I just want you to talk on a piece of how that experience was for you of not knowing this person and then getting introduced to it. And how sometimes you were introduced to something, he was like, yeah, not for me to be able to turn away.
Hmm. I just didn't have it in me that night because I was turning 30 years old. I had turned 30 years old and I
Mhm,
thought I was grown enough, quote
mhm,
unquote, to do whatever I was big and bad enough to do. That's the truth of the whole matter. When he put that said happy birthday and and he took his hand off and I saw what was in my hand, I was like, "Hey, well, I must be old enough to do this now."
mhm,
And that's the only thing I could say. It wasn't no big deal, even though up to that point I had said no to
mhm,
all
mhm,
this other stuff that I didn't know about, like needles and all of that. I see him do it as I walk through people's house. We go through as like an after party or whatever.
mhm,
And I will always say no. They say, "Come on in, you want some of this?" And I'm like, "Nope, I don't want none of that." Because I didn't know what that was, to be honest with you. So I
mhm,
didn't want any of it. But I knew
mhm,
what cocaine was because I saw it before, but I
mhm.
had never did it before.
Okay.
And so like I said, I thought I was grown enough to I could handle it. But who would be dumb enough to snort the whole big bag of cocaine like that in one night? So that just goes to show you where my mind was at. I
Yeah.
didn't even know. I didn't know no better.
Mhm.
I didn't know any better. So that's how I don't. So when I see young people out there today, I'm like, they really don't know. And I try to put a little bug in their ear. I can know them or not know them.
Mhm.
And, that's part of my ministry. That's part of who I am. That's
Mhm.
part of my service
Mhm. Mhm.
is to say, think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that. Or I'll tell them stuff like, don't let the world steal your smile because you have such a beautiful smile. Don't let the world take that from you because they're going to keep trying. And I tell them like that, and they said, I won't, because I know those words will come back to them
Yeah.
in that moment. Don't let the world steal your smile, because I know they don't know, just like I didn't know, um, just like I may not know something that my mom and dad knows at this point in their lives. I still have to learn that,
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't really explain about um what made me do that. Even with one of my associates telling me not to do um the little thing they have cooked up already, but they add so much stuff to that you get addicted right away.
Hmm.
And where I didn't think I was addicted to the pure cocaine, I guess I was, because I kept doing it, and
Hmm.
it wasn't like this little thing though where you had to have that every day. You had to spend all your money every single day, and you would promise yourself at the end of the week, when I get my paycheck, I'm not going to buy that. Soon as you get your money in your hand, it was like the spirit came over you, honey. You wasn't getting past that spirit.
Hmm.
You wasn't going to do it. That's something you wasn't going to be able to do by yourself, but you don't
Hmm.
know that.
You don't know that.
And then you didn't spend your whole check again.
Let
And
me,
your kids eating oodles and noodles.
mm. Now let me sit here for a second, though, friends, because there's somebody listening, right? And they like, I'm not doing drugs with my money. Everybody got advice though. You shopping? You buying something you don't need to be buying? Robbing Peter to pay Paul? That can become addictive.
Yes.
Those candles at Bath and Body Works can become
Mm.
addictive. You're gonna need burn one at a time. Well, okay, a couple at a time. I get it. But um, us all just taking an inventory as we're looking back of what vices we have that are causing us to maybe not flourish as much as we want to. Somebody
Oh,
told you about
that's good.
coupons, so he was like, "Oh, I got a deal, so I can get it." Or whatever it is. Don't let whatever it is burn a hole in your pocket. I like that. Don't let the world steal your smile. Make sure that we're doing
Mhm.
some things that are bringing us joy and that's really helping us to continue to
Yeah.
flourish
Yes.
and not send us back tomorrow. Because I
Yeah.
get, carpe diem, live for today, but tomorrow is coming. We was blessed to wake up today. We're going to be blessed, the Lord willing, to wake up tomorrow. Let's make sure that we still got a roof over our head and the things that we need to keep on going in this thing called life. Because
Mm.
after a while, somebody say, you know what, I can't help you anymore. You got to figure it out on your own.
Mm-hmm.
But Jesus will be there all along. We talked about that.
All the time.
But it'll also have a part of making sure that you're learning a lesson of how you can sustain it and maintain it as well. What would you say is the biggest or the greatest lesson you've learned thus far in your life?
Mm. Oh, that's kind of easy, I think. And that would be to pursue you.
Mm.
To pursue you. Regardless, and you want to be around people who's not going to hinder
Mm.
you pursuing
Yes.
you.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is that I dropped out of school to get married when I was 16. I was in the 11th grade.
Mm.
I was in the 11th grade and thought I could go back to school. They wouldn't let me. They said, "You a married woman, miss." See, things were different back then than they are today. You
Mhm.
couldn't go to school if you was a married woman. You couldn't
Wow.
step in that class talking about, "I'm a married woman. I got a baby and a husband." And what you got? You know, because the immaturity was still
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
There was no sense of maturity there. So no, they didn't let me go back to school.
Wow.
So what I did, like I said, once I learned who I am, because all of that part of my life, I did things for everybody else to prove that I was good. To prove, oh God, tears will come again, but to prove I was good enough, and all of these type things, to my family, to my friends, to the guys I went with, and all of this. That's not happening in my life today, and it hasn't happened for years. Okay, um, to pursue you. If you want an education, go get it. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. I stepped up in Chestnut Hill College and said, and I asked the lady, I said, I told her, I said, I don't have any money. Can I go to school? She said, yeah, they was ready for that, right? Yeah, we'll give you all the loans that you, Nevertheless,
They will give you money.
And nevertheless, look, this is how God did my life. I like I said, I dropped out. So starting with the GD, God had me to be awarded the honor of being called the Adult Student of the Year for the state of Pennsylvania. Right? It started, which is like, you like, what? What? Because you know what it took for you to go through all of that just to get your GED. So then I go to community college and I applied for the Behavioral Health Human Services program. They accepted me. I graduated with honor. What?
Congratulations.
Are you serious? Me, the one they said is never going to be nothing and da 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 da. So then a few years went by. I did all of this few years apart. I stepped up in Chestnut Hill. I said, can I go to school if I don't have any money? Because I wanted to get my bachelor's degree. She said, sure, come on, I'll show you how. So I graduated from a dual program with my behavioral health and human service degree and a degree in psychology with honor. Girl, you know that's the Lord that
Beautiful.
it's like, what? This was in me all along. All the time I was thinking I was dumb and stupid and all the names I called myself or agreed to you calling me. Don't agree with people putting you down. But I did that for years. And then when God takes the lid off of people, it's like, oh, this, that, okay, well, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. I have to be who God created. That's one thing I won't give up is who I am and who God is. But I used to try to be like you. No, I can't be like you because God didn't make me like you. He made me like me. So I used to even think I was the black sheep of the family. But today, I don't care if I'm the black sheep of the family. I'm God's child, and He's running my life. So if you have problems with my life, then you need to talk to Him. Because
Yeah.
I'm not listening. I'm
Mm.
be honest with you. I'm not really listening to that. I'm listening to uh sisters and brothers, creative people, associates say, Ramona, why don't you think about it this way? Or, da 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 da. And girl, I really appreciate what you did for. I can't listen to all that stuff I listened to all of those years that held me captive. They held
Mm.
me in bondage.
Mm.
And I have people don't understand that I walk the way I walk, not because I'm conceited or I think I'm better than you.
Come on.
No, I don't
Mm-hmm.
and never
Mm-hmm.
will. But I know who I am in Christ Jesus
Yes.
today. And He taught me how to walk.
Yes.
He taught me how to walk. He taught me how to smile. He taught me where my joy is. He taught me where my peace is. Don't come from man. It will never come from man.
Yeah.
Don't look for a man to give you your peace or your joy because the word of God says that belongs to God.
Yeah.
And when we take our eyes off of that, knowing where our the word help came from, when we know that and we are steadfast and immovable, because that's what God make us. He make us,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to be mean.
Yeah.
You don't have to be that worldly person. Even though I'm gonna be honest, I can be pushed to that point still today. Poor me. But I'm just saying, when God teaches you, when the Holy Spirit
Yes.
teaches you,
Yes.
you'll never lose it and no one can ever take it from you. That's what it means, that the world didn't give it to me and the world can't take it away. And that's how I live my life, and I believe, because I know who God, I accept.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it like that. I accept who God created me
Mm.
with all of my flaws.
And all. Yes.
That, yes, I accept it. Why? Because I know he knows how to straighten that out.
Yes.
He has brought me a way that I didn't even know I had to come.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I'm very grateful. I can't even explain the gratefulness that I have,
Yes.
um from where I came from, and I believed at that time that I would never be nothing,
Mm.
that I couldn't accomplish anything. I didn't know how to read. I didn't know how to spell. I didn't know how to add. I was like, how did I get
Mm-hmm.
through school not knowing how to do these things?
Mm.
So when I started my GED, I had to start from scratch.
Mm.
When I entered college, I had to start with the zero classes. You
Mm-hmm.
know, no credits. You gotta learn this part first.
But the blessing
Um,
is that they offer that because they're still trying to support people to pursue their dream.
exactly. And I'm just really grateful. I mean, look at my life today compared. It's like, people think being a battered wife is, oh, well, she could just leave. Well, you can't just leave. You gotta map that stuff out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can't just leave, especially if
Yeah.
you have children.
Right.
And if you're in a situation where I didn't know anything about taking care of myself, you know, because my ex-husband was in the Air Force. So he made the money, even though I had a little teeny job on the side selling hot dogs or something I was doing. But I didn't even know how to cash a paycheck. I didn't
Mm.
know anything, but I knew I wasn't made to be getting beat up. It's a lot of things I could say about that situation, but I don't want to put that on air. Um, about my ex. It's like, okay, the Lord took me out of that, and I'm grateful that I don't have to live that way today. I have a wonderful husband, and when you live with people, you have to learn how to allow them to be who they are,
Mm.
and you just be who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Before I got married, I let my husband know that I wasn't a traditional wife. So don't go in it like acting like you all this wifey, and you go cook dinner every day and draw his bath and all. Uh-uh. Oh, I'm just not that person. You know, that's what they try to raise us to be,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I was with the first one. But once I grew into myself, I
Mm.
knew that that's not who I am.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm a cook for my husband, but when I want to, not when I'm made to. I don't
Mm.
do anything today because I'm made to.
Mm.
Everything I do today is because I want to.
Mm.
And it feels good that I do it because I want to.
Yeah. It's a
Uh,
difference.
it's a difference, yes. And it's because, Jennifer, I think because I've been set free.
Mm.
I've been delivered.
Yeah.
I had people like today. You don't hear a lot about deliverance.
Yeah.
Whew, thank you, God. I've been delivered.
Yeah.
Like some people say never. Well, some things I can say never to
Mm-hmm.
because I've been delivered.
Mm-hmm.
You can say never when you're out there in that world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not out there in that world.
Yeah.
I'm saved. I am in the world, but I'm not of the world.
Mm-hmm.
My trust is in the Lord.
Yeah.
So I can't have two different mindsets, and yeah, I can't have two, like I have on the mood ring, and I'm gonna let this mood ring tell me what my mood is.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. It's like, no, God said you have peace when you keep your
Mm-hmm.
mind on me, and I will give you joy unspeakable and full of glory. And
Yes.
all of these things are true,
Yes.
but you must be delivered.
Must be
You
delivered.
must be, you must be set free.
Yes.
And they don't do that no more today. They don't take you that way. Yes, you need deliverance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And but God, the other thing I want to say that I learned about God is He wants you to be who He created you to be. With Now, when I go, like I have a set of classmates, we've been friends for over 50 years
Mm.
from junior high school, and we still get together.
Very nice.
And when we get together, we act up. We act up, we dance, we have fun. But some people think to be holy, I can't do these things. But God said, I made this so you can enjoy this. I made this mountain over here so beautiful so you can enjoy that. I taught you how to dance. It's dancing in the word of God. Boom, boom, boom. It's a difference in dancing. Not to be provocative and all that, but yeah, to have fun. When I'm with my family, I dance. At the family reunions. Come on now. So I'm the type of person, I don't put on and take off my hat. I keep who I am. I keep the same hat on. That who you see me as today, I'm going to be a better one tomorrow, but I'm be the same.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful, Jenna. And this topic, I think this topic is perfect for me. Attitude of gratitude, and I carry that with me every day. I talk to God. It's like it's amazing how you could talk to God all day long,
Yeah.
and you could feel Him with you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we don't,
Mm-hmm.
but for the most part, yeah, you gotta get the direction.
Yeah.
Um, you can't be lost again, but that fellowship part, I need that to be stronger. Like for instance, my dad. I'm having fellowship with my dad at this late age in my life, and I'm loving it. I get the opportunity to take care of my father. He's 91 years old,
It's a blessing.
and he is a joy. He really is. He will have you cracking up. One last thing about him, he had a sandwich the other day at the hospital. I said, Dad, why don't you eat your sandwich? And he picked the sandwich. Y'all might not think this funny, but I was almost on the floor laughing. He picked the sandwich up. He said, mm. Now remember, he has Alzheimer's, dementia, and he's 91. So he picks up the sandwich and he said, it looked like somebody stole something out of this sandwich. The sandwich. The sandwich. You know how grilled cheese is so flat, right?
Yes. Yes. Oh.
He said it looked like somebody stole something out of this. I'd never heard that before in my life.
Oh goodness. It was too
So he
thin of
still
a
has a very good sense of humor,
Yeah.
even though he's 91 and he has Alzheimer's and dementia. My dad also has a defibrillator and a pacemaker.
No.
And he has a kidney that acts up sometimes, but he's strong as I don't know what, and he loves the Lord.
Yes.
I took a video of him tonight. And he was asleep. He had his eyes closed, sitting in the chair. I don't know whether he was asleep or just in there with God. Because all of a
Mhm.
sudden his hands went up and he just started worshiping. I was like, what? I was like, God is just amazing.
He is.
He is amazing.
He is.
He is amazing. And then my dad started busting out singing all of these old songs, church songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a kick out of my dad. I really do. But he wasn't the dad that raised me. My grandfather and my grandmother raised me.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad had another family. But
Oh,
God, see, people, you gotta wait on God.
yeah. Yeah.
It's like God knew that I always wanted to live with my dad.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So look, I get to live with my dad now. He lives in my home.
Very nice.
And so yes, I have an attitude of gratitude because God didn't leave me out. You
Yes.
see, I still live with my dad, and I'm having the time of my life with
Yeah.
my dad telling me how proud he is of me, and all of these things. He can't tell me how proud he is of me enough, and
Mm-hmm.
thanking me for taking care of him and all of these things. And it's really a beautiful thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's amazing. I have a coworker. She drives her dad into work every day, and he goes and
Oh,
makes meetings her, and she's so grateful for that opportunity. And in our community, sometimes we don't always have our dads, so it's a blessing to have them and to be able
yes.
to have that relationship with them. So yes,
Yes.
I
Yes,
love
I'm
it.
very grateful for it's like my whole life. I'm just grateful for it. Um yeah, I'm just really grateful that I'm at this point in my life. I'm still moving forward cuz I look forward every day. I look forward for God to do something, to show me another thing he wants me to do,
Mhm.
and cuz now I trust him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Out of everything he's done, I just trust him. And now I have this feeling on me that he's getting ready to do something that i
Mhm.
don't i don't know, but all of the things that we go through is for our
Right.
tomorrow.
Yes.
It's to build us up for whatever he has for us tomorrow. Whether it's helping somebody else or finding a new chapter in our own lives, because I believe that he put us here to help each other,
Mm-hmm.
in one way or another. But by us being brought up in the world,
Mm-hmm.
we have different ideas about that. And but when you come over to God's side, you'll see a whole different, beautiful world. And you won't be afraid to help somebody else.
Yes, and that's a blessing.
You know.
Before I let you go, I want you to share about because you're a baker. Could you share a
Yeah.
little bit about your baking and how people can connect?
Sure. Actually, I'm Aunt Verly. And the name of my business is Aunt Burley's Pound Cake Experience. And the experience allows us to serve you cheesecakes, bread pudding, banana pudding, cupcakes. We can offer to serve at your wedding, with dessert tables, your baby showers. We cater all types of events, most events. And then we travel. We deliver. We have delivered as far as North Carolina. So, and then we ship cakes as well.
Okay.
So you can find our information auntburleys.com on well, when you bring that up, when you key that in, you'll come up with our Facebook, our Instagram, and something else. I don't know. I let other people do that. And I'm still learning it though. I'm still learning how to do all of this social media stuff. But I know that Facebook and our webpage, that's what I was trying to say. And that's what we're working on now. We're working on a new web page to bring it up to date and to make it easier for you to order online. Some do order online, but when I look back at things, I think we can make it a little bit easier for our customers to order online. So we do all types of events as well. We won a few awards. One of those awards being nominated as one of the small businesses for the African American Chamber of Commerce. We were just selected to present our desserts at the Comcast Holiday Festival, which happened at their headquarters at 18th and Arch. So we're getting on the map, and we really, we have it at CLC Bookstore. They've been with us from the very beginning, And that bookstore is located in the Cedar Brook Mall up here in Wyncote. And they sell our slices every day. So look for us in more stores and restaurants because, as the pandemic took away a lot of restaurants, it took away our business as well because those were our customers. And many of them did not reopen. But we're going back out there this year. You can also find us when the farmers markets are opened again. We have begun to do those as well. And we just enjoy being with the people. So we serve, um, we serve our communities. And I was getting ready to say that uh, our business is really a ministry because if you see us out there and you need prayer, just ask us to pray for you. We will, because we know that it's a ministry. And I don't know, some people just walk up to us and say, "Do you pray?" And I'm like, "Okay, God sent them." And so we just pray, it's no big deal because we all need prayer. So, yeah, Aunt Burley's Pound Cake Experience, we're on the move. So we hope to see you out there soon. But you don't have to wait. You can order today.
I love it. I love it. Friends, I know the holidays are going and you done did your resolution of how you going to the gym. But you want to treat
Yes.
yourself sometimes. Again, if your body can have it, have it. If your body can't have it, don't do it.
Don't have it.
If somebody else can have it, be a blessing to them. But I think
Absolutely.
this is really good. Did you enjoy yourself?
I absolutely enjoyed myself. Jen, I am so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
You have become such a lovely young lady. I'll be following you. I'm like, and
Appreciate it.
and I know your mother would be ecstatic.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And every time I see you, I say, "Yep, her mother would just be falling over. You wouldn't be able to shut up." But yeah, you're doing a great job, and keep up the good work and everything. And yeah, we continue to pray for you. And yep, I'm so very proud
Thank you.
of you, and thank you for this time of allowing me to be even more grateful as to the connections that God has me doing. Like, who would have thought I'd be on the Jen Care show? What? It's like, what?
I love it. We are so honored to have you. I thank you so much for sharing your testimony. And
Yeah.
I know that it was encouraging to someone that is out there saying, I've been through some things. Maybe I should throw in a towel. Oh, I want to get somebody tomorrow. Maybe I won't because Ramona said she didn't do it.
No,
Um,
don't do it.
don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. So again, I truly, truly do appreciate you. I'm excited. I'll be
Me
trying to get to the
too.
shop rights, but you're on the other side of the world from where I am. But I
Yes.
order. I'm a order,
Yeah.
and we'll
Yeah,
get out there.
we're getting ready to start our tour with Shop Rights too, but they're all around the city in
Mhm,
different parts, north, south, east, west. We try to
mhm,
pick
mhm.
them around the city, and we
Okay.
do them every 2 weeks. So look out for
Okay.
our posts on Facebook.
We'll
So
do
we'll
it. We'll
be
do.
doing them up until the end of June. Usually we take the summer off from Shop Rights, but that's when we're doing the farmers market.
Okay. Got you. I'll
I
be
love
looking
you,
out.
Jen.
I love you. Thank you so much. May you have a great evening.
You as well.
Oh,
Bye,
good night.
everybody.
Friends, friends, friends. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. RamonaIsTheBomb.com. Did y'all hear that story? That is amazing because there's some times that we could have been in some situations that he looked out for us, and I am grateful because it could have been another way. Oh, friends, don't forget our quote of the day. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. Again, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. Yes, we understand the different things that happen, but we have to be able to keep going forward. We can't go back. We can't go back. We got to go forth. All right. Friends, be sure to join us next week as we have John Bosworth for Love Learning. I went to Phoenix a couple of months ago and met him. It was such an honor to meet him. I'm so excited to have him come and share. He has a program called Love Learning Music, and it's going to be good. Friends, so Jen Karen's back. Help me out, though. Sometimes I need some people to be a guest. If you know somebody that would be an amazing guest, please have them email me at info@chozencounselors.com. Send me their name. I'll reach out to them because we're always looking for someone to share their story. So, friends, if you know somebody, help a sister out, okay? Because we need some more people for the year so we can keep this coming. Something else I want to share with you. We have a new podcast. It launched last Thursday. Every Thursday at 8, check out what we have. Hey, Chosen friends, I hope you're having an amazing day. Just wanted to share about a new service we are bringing. It is called Blending Fab, the podcast, blending families, attitudes, and beliefs. And I know often people say a blended family is when one person comes with someone else and one of them had children and we're blending it together. What if I told you, actually I'm going to tell you, we believe that blending starts with the first person that came together with the other. How you were raised, if you were raised in a single parent household or by your grandmom in a foster care home, both parents, one parent, no parents. That is a blend like none other. So blending your families, your attitudes, and beliefs is a process. And we have a new podcast coming soon that talks about that process and more. We talk about all things relationships and we have a good time. So be sure to tune in as Blending Fab Podcast is coming soon. Hey, yes, it's coming soon, but actually it's here. So every Thursday, we're exclusively on YouTube for that podcast. So on Thursdays at 8 p.m. And the coolness about YouTube is the same with Facebook. You can go at any time to watch the episode once it airs. Last week's was so good. We had Beverly, and she talked about how to know who was the one, how we sometimes sabotage ourselves when great things are trying to happen for us. And this week it will be Tahira, and I'm so excited for her episode as well, and her stepping out to be able to share her story. So friends, we have the Blended Fab on Thursdays, and Jen Cares is back on Mondays. I do love and appreciate each and every one of you. May you have a great evening. Hope to see you next week. Until next time, I love you.
Friends, we thank you for joining Jen Cares this week. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Unable to watch us live? Be sure to find us on your favorite podcast platform. You can also visit our website, chozencounselors.com. That's Chozen with a Z, to stay in the know and most of all, never miss a show. If you found value in this show, we'd appreciate you sharing it with a friend. Most of all, be sure to tune in for our next episode as we specialize in bringing the community to you.